Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to.
Romanians election results explained.
Let's
Political roller
go.
coaster in Romania these past few months.
Political earthquake in the making.
In Romania, far-right candidate is leading out of the first round of presidential polls.
Who's booed up like that? Oh, go back. Okay, play.
Candidate is
Now
leading
look,
out of the first
what we doing? This is like professional, and they like boot up.
What were booed up?
You don't see the couple in the back?
round
Oh,
of presidential.
that's not a couple. They're standing one in front of the other, so they look close.
Oh,
Look,
they look like a couple.
Earthquake in the making.
They look
In
booed
Romania,
up.
far-right candidate is leading out
the
of
one on the left, right?
Yeah, with the pink dress, and there's a person's arm. That's not a person's arm.
Pink dress. Where the fuck you see pink dress?
You don't see like it look like
First round
someone's
of
like arm.
I don't. What?
You don't see the
Earthquake
couple?
in the making.
In
Okay, I'm
Romania,
blind.
far-right candidate is leading out of the
Where do you see a pink
Okay,
dress?
see the lady with the black jacket.
On the right.
Yes, and then there's a lady in pink. Is that a
That-
guy's arm around her? Of the guy behind her. What is that?
That's her.
Oh, jacket.
Her arm. That's a puffer jacket.
Oh,
What are you?
it
That's
looked like
a
a
puffer
person.
jacket. That's
It
not
looked
a
like the
pink
guy.
dress.
It looked like the guy behind her.
Oh
His
my
arm with
goodness.
tattoos.
You
I'm
need-
like, where are
Did you
we?
need another pair of glasses?
No, but it looked like an arm. Look like a hairy arm. Don't do that to me.
first round of presidential polls.
Halil Georgescu.
Known as the TikTok candidate.
Romania's top court has
Okay.
annulled the results of November's political election after accusations of Russian meddling.
Oh.
New elections, but one candidate is out.
Romania banned far-right pro-Russian politician Halil Georgescu from standing in the presidential election rerun in May.
So here we are again. What happened at the presidential election rerun in Romania?
How come he doesn't like a light in his studio?
You don't need it.
Romania has just wrapped up its first round of its presidential elections. While voters faced a crowded field of more than 10 candidates, 5 frontrunners dominated the race. Yet one name was notably missing from the ballot: Călin Georgescu. Now, if you're wondering why that matters, let's quickly rewind. This election was
I wonder if you can be like a write-in. If you can write in the name.
Oh.
actually a rerun of the original vote held just last November, where Georgescu shocked the country by winning the first round, despite polling under 10% right before the election. So who is this guy? Georgescu is a nationalist, known for promoting conspiracy theories, aligning with far-right causes, and openly praising Russia. He built his campaign almost entirely on TikTok, appealing to voters with populist
Wow, kind of shows you the power of social media, how you can be saying whatever the fuck you want to say. There's,
That's why they want to block it.
wow.
slogans and anti-EU
You see,
rhetoric.
even bodies of government are listening to his videos and applying it.
It worked. Too well, apparently. Within a week of his surprise victory, Romania's constitutional court invalidated the election. Instead of moving to a second round, the results were scrapped, and the entire process had to start all over. The official reason: irregularities and procedural flaws. The unofficial suspicion: foreign interference, disinformation, and pressure from allies worried about Romania's democratic trajectory. A bit controversial, no? The story even caught international headlines, with US Senator J.D. Vance calling the EU undemocratic over this very affair. But that's a rabbit hole for another day. So what happened last night in the rerun? Well, more surprises, with one very clear frontrunner and winner. In 5th place was center-right candidate Elena Lasconi, who received just 2.7% of the vote, a super disappointing
Oh,
result, especially
wow.
given that she came in second during the initial election back in November last year. 4th place went
Wow.
to the independent Victor Ponta, a former prime minister who secured 13% of the vote. But the real drama unfolded in the battle for 3rd and 2nd place. The race was razor tight between the conservative Crin Antonescu, the candidate of the ruling coalition, and the center-right independent Nicoșor Dan. Antonescu led for most of the night, but once diaspora and urban votes were counted, Dan edged ahead by less than 1 percentage point, finishing with 21% and claiming the 2nd place. And on top of the leaderboard, with a commanding 41% of the vote, was George Simeon, the fiery leader of the far-right alliance for the Union of Romania.
I mean, but they still elected far right though, so did they really need the rerun? Okay, not maybe did they need the rerun. More so, was it really meddled? If they the outcome is
Yeah.
basically the same policies, just different face.
In short, AUR. His landslide victory in the first round sent shockwaves through the political establishment and the EU.
Or are they gonna say, oh, it was meddled again? I mean, if that's what the Romanian people are voting for, that's what they're voting for. I mean, it may be hard to admit, but that if that's what they want, That's the whole point of democracy, right? Listen to the people.
Yeah.
But more on that later. In a strategic move to consolidate support from his far-right base, Simeon aligned himself with Călin Georgescu, the disqualified candidate who won the first round of the annulled election. Simeon has publicly pledged to bring Georgescu back into a leadership role if elected, suggesting possibilities such as appointing him as prime minister or initiating a referendum to reinstate him. This might have helped him get so many votes. But no one is president just yet. Under Romania's electoral system, voters across the countries cast their ballots in the first round for their preferred candidate. If no one wins an outright majority, over 50%, the top two contenders advance to a second round runoff.
Yeah, I think Lithuania is the same as well. If there's no 50%, you do the round two.
This decisive face-off, scheduled for 2 weeks from now, will see these two candidates return to the polls for a direct head-to-head contest. Only then will Romania know who its next president will be. And the two leaders couldn't be more different. George Simeon presents himself as the voice of real Romanians. He is known for his nationalist rhetoric and frequent flirtations with conspiracy theories. A former activist for unification with Moldova, Simeon has turned AUR into a political force by channeling public frustration over corruption, economic inequality, and rapid cultural change. Nico Dan, on the other hand, is a technocratic reformer focused on transparency and good governance. Though socially conservative, he lacks strong nationalist leanings. Dan founded the Save Romania Union, USR, a pro-European party born out of anti-corruption protests, which quickly gained support among urban and progressive voters. He later distanced himself from USR in 2017. After the party declined to support a constitutional referendum, he backed, seeking to define marriage strictly as between a man and a woman. Nico Dan is the current mayor of Bucharest. On foreign policy, Simeon is something of a Trump fanboy. He's described his party as Trumpist and proudly wears the MAGA hat and mirrors Trump's nationalist anti-establishment.
How does it make sense for him to wear "Make America Great Again" hat?
That's not-
Wear a "Make Romania" hat.
Yeah.
Make Romania great again.
Yeah.
What? Make America? What? Why?
Like Trump, he's deeply skeptical of the European Union. Although he does insist Romania should remain a member, he's repeatedly threatened to defy EU laws he disagrees with. And he also opposes further integration and has even questioned Romania's support for Ukraine. In fact, Simeon is currently banned from entering Ukraine for 3 years, with Kiev accusing him of anti-Ukrainian activities. He's also cited Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni as a political role model and has called for the Melonization of Europe. Nico Dan, by contrast, is a committed pro-European. He supports deeper EU integration, values Romania's place in the Western Alliance, and stands firmly behind Ukraine. For him, the war in Ukraine reinforces the need.
I think this could be a differentiating factor, the Ukraine one. I think there is a form of exhaustion behind the Ukraine war. I think a lot of people, they feel that, they want to stop sending money for Ukraine.
For a strong EU and NATO alliance, and he sees Romania as a frontline state that must uphold European values in the face of authoritarian threats. On May the 18th, we will
But
find out who takes
are you also saying they'll look past the Trump perspective of the other party?
What do you mean Trump perspective?
George,
Yeah.
he's a Trumpist,
Mm-hmm.
but Don, he's pro
He's left.
Europe.
He's
Yeah,
well,
pro-
okay, not left. He's center right, but
Europe.
okay. So
I thought with Europe, everyone was aligning. Okay, we have to, come together as one and just, like, forget about America. So how would people
oh,
split
that's
their
what you
choice
mean.
between that?
Oh, well,
Mhm.
Simeon, he did say that he's willing to do this, just ignore European law, EU laws that he disagrees with. So if he disagrees with whatever they decide to do with Trump, he might, do his own. I mean, that's what he said. I'm just, reciting what the guy said. So
crown, and with it, the power to shape Romania's future for the next 5 years. And the Romanian president is far from a ceremonial figure. They direct foreign policy, appoint the prime minister, and have the authority to veto legislation or refer to the constitutional court. More importantly, they command the armed forces and serve as Romania's voice on the European stage. If you want to stay informed as this high-stakes race unfolds, make sure to subscribe.
interesting. So I mean,
I don't know who the people are gonna vote for.
I feel like it's gonna be Simeon. He got 40% already. Like,
But no. That you got 40%, but because the others they voted
I
split.
understand that, but so what you're saying, the other guy,
Go
he's
back
gonna,
to the points. Let me see.
the other guy is gonna go from 21% to 50%, 30%
Well, he can.
jump?
He's if it's he's far right. The other one is center. So if you go based on everyone's leanings, let me see. This is center right, conservative. I don't see how they can just jump all the way to the far.
I mean, okay, I will give you that in the sense that number 2 through 5 is basically kind of the same.
Yeah.
They're like right-ish, right leaning, but they're not far right.
So what's gonna make them go all the way far right? And also they already had showed their support that they had other people they wanted to vote. Those people are no longer in the race. So make it make sense.
Well, it's also possible that if those people are no longer in the race, they're just like, I'm not
They'll
gonna
not
go.
vote again?
Yeah, the person I wanted is not there no longer. I don't care. And by that, all the percentage increases for Simeon, it matters more. Because
Because he could pick up.
Don needs actual vote. Simeon, like, so what I'm saying is, if the turnout decreases,
50%. Mm-hmm.
so Simeon's share increases if the turnout decreases. Don needs to increase his shares. If turnout decreases, but all Simeon's votes show up, the people that who's the voters for those 3 that didn't make it, then don't show up, it hurts Dan, not Simeon. So it's an uphill battle. I don't know. Dan has to do some like legit campaigning on TikTok or I don't know where. Like it's 2 weeks, but seems because if it was like 30% and 20, then we can it's but 41%. That's damn close to 50%. That's like uphill battle for Dan.
Hey, this is 40.94 and 20.9.
9, yeah. So basically 41 and 9 and 21.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But it's interesting. All of these are right though. Not one left. So basically says that
Well,
the
maybe,
country is right.
but I don't know what does it mean to be conservative in Romania.
Well,
Because based on even Don, the center right, okay, I would.
I think when it comes to conservative, they're more like about the socially, like the gay rights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what they mean more conservative.
Can I see the comments? Maybe some people will say who will win.
Wow, Romania has such a wide selection of candidates. They have conservatives, very conservative, super conservatives, and conservative conservatives. So we have an Olympic mathematician who graduated Paris-Sorbonne University, who's independent and has decades of experience, re-elected as mayor, versus a 38-year-old guy who never had a real job. In any universe, this would be an easy choice, but apparently not in this one.
Yeah, they have a whole mayor that's already doing the job.
Yeah, but it's about campaigning. Small mention about first round majority. It has to be 50% plus one of all existing voters wanted to win in the first round, not just the one who voted. So it is basically impossible. Oh. So it's based on the population of the country, 50% plus one, not on the people who attend. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That makes a difference. Yeah, so it's basically second round is guaranteed unless like you get like I don't know 60+%, then maybe. Wow. Okay.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.